female reproductive system. I want to encourage learners to know how to draw the structures. I'll make a sketch of the female reproductive system. If you know how to draw the structure, there is no way that you are going to be able not to learn it well. You must know how to label the structure. This is the structure here. It's a sketch. Let's take it for granted that this is a female reproductive system, even though we know that it's a page, but it's a female reproductive system. Let's take it for granted that. Now, here, the picture which is depicted here, that I'm trying to draw here, is of the female reproductive system. Now, you need to be able to understand the parts of the female reproductive system. The parts of the female reproductive system. Now, here is a sketch that shows the female reproductive system here. Now, firstly, what we have to do, we have to label these parts. Part A, and then we've got part B, then we've got the part C here, then you've got part D, and then you've got E here, and then part F. Now, let's label the parts first. In the diagram, some of you have question papers, but now you must learn how to draw. This part is called the vulva, and this one is called the vagina, and this one is called the cervix, and this one is called the uterus or womb. This one, it is called the oviduct or fallopian tube. You can see that there are two fallopian tubes. Why there are two fallopian tubes? To ensure maximum fertilization. If one of these fallopian tube is blocked, then the other fallopian, the egg can still be produced to other, or we can see that there are two ovaries. If the egg is produced from this ovary and it is blocked in the fallopian tube, this one here, the other ovary can still produce an egg and fertilization can still take place there. Then here we've got the part called ovary. So these are the main parts of the female reproductive system. Now let us go into the functions of the part. After doing this is how you study. You will first copy the diagram, or you have a diagram having labels A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. Then you fill in the labels. Thereafter, from the labels, then you do what you call the function. The function here, this is called the female copulatory organ, or is called external female reproductive opening. This is where copulation takes place. Now we've got vagina. This vagina here is called a birth canal. A function is a birth canal, or is a place where fertilization, where sperms are deposited. It's a place where sperms are deposited. It is called birth canal, or a place where sperm cells are deposited. This one is a female copulatory organ. It's an organ, external female opening, whereby when the penis is inserted into this area, it now is an entrance of the female reproductive system. So here, the vagina is a birth canal, and it's also a place where sperm cells are deposited. In some books, it is called the urogenital canal. Urogenital means it passage of urine and also reproductive birth. Now we've got also the cervix. Because I don't have space there, let me write cervix here. The cervix is called the entrance of the uterus. The cervix is an entrance of the uterus. Then we've got here this part called, let's go to another part here, fallopian tube or oviduct. This one here, if you look at the fallopian tube, it is lined with cilia. Now this cilia, it now the function is to propel the egg cell it allows the egg cell to move into the fallopian tube. Now the main function of the fallopian tube here is that it is a place where fertilization takes place. A place where fertilization takes place. This one, the vagina, a place where sperm cells are deposited. Then this sperm cell will swim through the uterus and go to the fallopian tubes. Now the fallopian tube have cilia, and this cilia, it helps to propel the egg cell to meet the sperm cell throughout, propel the sperm cell through the fallopian or the oviduct. The other name for fallopian tube is called the oviduct. Now, we have identified the structure and labeled the parts, and then we have identified the functions of every part. We started with the vulva, the female copulatory organ, the external female opening. Then we talked about the vagina, the birth canal, the place where sperm cells are deposited. And then we talked about the cervix, which is the entrance of the uterus. Then we go to the fallopian tubes, the tubes that connect the ovary to the uterus. And these tubes have cilia that propel the egg cell through the oviduct. So in other words, it's a place where fertilization takes place. Now I want us to look at this main important part here, the uterus or the womb. I want maximum attention in this one here. Now, with regard to understanding examiner's language, this uterus is responsible for implantation of an embryo or fertilized egg. And also, this is for attachment of the fetus or placenta. It's for the attachment of the placenta, the womb or the uterus. Then also you must indicate that the uterus, it has what you call muscles. Now these muscles, they do what? They contract and relax during child labor, during child birth, not child labor, child birth. Child labor, it means a child having a child. So we are talking about childbirth when the baby is born. Now, it contracts. Now, the question may say, explain one way in which the uterus is structurally suited for childbirth. It has a muscle which contract to expel the fetus. It has muscles which contract and relax to expel the fetus. That is what I want learners to understand. The uterus. Here I've got this structure here. The uterus. But I think this is a small writing. You won't be able to see it. Let me just proceed with this. We say you will be given questions here. The first question will say, what are the functions of the uterus? It's for implantation of embryo. It is a place where implantation takes place, and also it's for attachment of the placenta during pregnancy. Placenta during pregnancy. It is for attachment of placenta during pregnancy. And also, you can say it encloses and protects the embryo. It encloses and protect the embryo. That is the function of the uterus. Now the uterus has muscles. This muscle can stretch to enclose and protect the uterus during development, the fetus during development. Now it also has, those muscles also, they assist they contract and relax during childbirth to expel the fetus. That is the main important thing about the fetus. The uterus is as important as the testis there. We say why the testis is hung outside the male body is to create a suitable temperature which is 3 degrees Celsius below that one of the body temperature to ensure optimal sperm production. Now the question may say, state a way in a uterus is structurally suited for childbirth. Now, it has muscles which contract or relax during childbirth to expel the fetus during labor, during childbirth, and during labor. So this is what you need to understand about the female reproductive system. Lastly, we are going to the last part here called the ovary. Ovary. Now I want us to look at the ovary. The ovary, there are two ovaries in the female reproductive system. Now these ovaries, they have also the germinal epithelial in them, like the testes. Now this germinal epithelium, they are responsible for, they produce ovum. They actively divide to produce ovum. They actively divide by meiosis to produce an ovum. So that is the function of the ovary. It's a place, it is responsible, it produces the ovum. It's a place where the ovum is produced. And that is the function of the parts of the female reproductive system. Here is a diagram. I have tried to draw it here. This is to show that you need to have a skill of drawing. If you are able to draw, you will be able to label the parts, and you will draw the parts that you know, and you will be able to know the functions of each part. So the male reproductive system, label the structure, and give the functions of the parts. Now we are moving to the next level. So I'm waiting for questions in 5 minutes here. For questions before I proceed with another type of discussion.